Hello, I'm retired Chief Warrant Officer 5, Phyllis Wilson, President of the Women in Military Service for America Memorial Foundation. And thank you so very much for joining us today for the unveiling of the Military Women's Memorial's newest exhibit, The Color of Freedom, honoring the diversity of America's service women. While the memorial has always worked hard to represent and tell the story of all service women, we are eager to add our voice to the current discussion about race and share the extraordinary and enduring contributions of service women of color. In many cases, contributions that have been forgotten, ignored, or diminished in our textbooks. Contributions that date back to the earliest days of the nation and across the decades and continue today. This exhibit spotlights more than 30 service women of color who have blazed trails, broken down barriers, and shattered glass ceilings. Women who have raised their right hand and sworn an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States. Women who dared, sacrificed, and leaned in to achieve the mission. As a result, our military and nation are better for their service. We are delighted to bring you The Color of Freedom, honoring the diversity of America's servicewomen. Joining me today, both in person and virtually, are more women who have made extraordinary contributions to this memorial, to the military, and the nation. Let me introduce the first two speakers. First, we are privileged to have Navy Chaplain Captain Judy Milana provide spiritual support to this gathering. Captain Milana has served ashore, afloat, and with forward deployed units with the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard for the past 20 years. She is currently assigned as the Regional Chaplain for the Naval District, Washington, located on the historic Navy Yard in the nation's capital. And next, our Curator of Collections, Britta Granrud, who took the lead for this superb exhibit and for helping us to find our voice for this important subject. Britta has been with the Foundation for 26 years and is our go-to person for all things history. Her knowledge of our one-of-a-kind, world-class collection, the largest collection of military women's stories and artifacts in the world, is unparalleled. Ladies, the podium is yours.
First off, thank you so much for the invitation to be a part of this magnificent event. It's certainly an honor to provide a prayer and a blessing for this historic unveiling. But before I do, just please allow me a little context. I can vividly remember nearly 24 years ago being here at the dedication of the Military Women's Memorial. A group of female chaplains and I gathered at the Lincoln Memorial and marched with 14,000 other individuals from all walks of life. We held candles, we sung patriotic songs and hymns, and we knew we were on the verge of a historic event on that evening of October 18th, 1997. So it was certainly a grand moment to help usher in a new era, not just in the history of women in military service for America, but for our great nation. And as a chaplain candidate back then, a lieutenant junior grade officer, I looked around and knew in my mind, heart, and soul that I would be part of something bigger than myself, and that any success that I might have experienced in the Navy in answering the call to serve God and country would be because of trailblazers who have paved the path for so many. So I stand here on the shoulders of giants, and you all are certainly among them, and I'm just so filled with gratitude to be part of this event. And so in the words of our current senior ranking female officer in the Department of Defense, Air Force General Jacqueline Van Oost, she said, "You can't be what you can't see. You can't be what you can't see." So with that, may our prayer be one of vision, where we are lifted not only to recognize, honor, and respect those who have served before us, but to see beyond and imagine a more perfect union inspired by the brilliant light of the color of freedom. So with that, let us pray. Almighty God, you are the creator and sustainer of all life. You have formed us, called us even in our mother's womb, and gave birth to us in your image. And because of this, we invoke your presence among us as we unveil this exhibit to celebrate and bear witness to our fellow Americans, our sisters, past and present, whose stories of courage and bravery are intricately woven into a rich tapestry for all to see. Sisters who represent the best of what our country has come to expect of those who are committed to defend its freedom. Honor, courage, respect, and steadfast devotion to duty. We are so grateful for these pioneers, these Americans who could not nor would not be deterred in their call to serve, and have served in every clime and place, in harm's way, on land, at sea, under the sea, in the air, and even in space, from the battlefield to the hospital wings. They are warriors, healers, explorers, aspirational, resilient, tough, phenomenal, yes, phenomenal women. Let us all be inspired by their works, for this exhibit is for all of us. It is for anyone who has ever dreamed a dream, for anyone who desires to do more, learn more, and be more. Let us be assured that the legacy of our sisters in arms is but a prologue to the greatness of what is and what is yet to come for all of us. For potential knows no gender, no race, no ethnicity, no sexual orientation, no culture, no social or economic status. Potential, both individually and collectively as a military organization or as a people, has no bounds. So let us see beyond our current situations, for there are challenges yet to be faced, there are battles yet to be fought, and there are victories yet to proclaim. So Lord, let us each shine our own light so that together we may illuminate the pathway for future generations of Americans, pathways to equality, to equity, and inclusion, pathways to freedom and the freedom to serve our great nation. For the color of freedom is beautiful, brilliant, and it's marvelous in our sight. So we ask, dear God, that you would bless this exhibit and all who experience it. And we ask these things in your most holy and precious name. Amen.
Good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here with you to talk about our newest exhibit, The Color of Freedom, honoring the diversity of America's servicewomen, which I had the privilege to work on. The public narrative regarding racial injustice last summer presented us with an opportunity to develop an exhibit about all military women of color and to highlight their service. To do that, I wanted the women to tell their stories in their own words. The register here at the Military Women's Memorial, which is the largest repository of women's military stories, allowed us to do just that. To tell their story, I also used their artifacts, the tangible evidence of their service from our world-class collection and archives. What I found was that women of color have faced barriers of gender, race, and traditional cultural values in their pursuit and right to serve. I found that their persistent efforts in enduring and overcoming discrimination has allowed them to thrive and see their roles expand across all sectors. I found that these women and many others have been forces within the trajectory of American history, women's history, and the military. I have found that diversity is our strength, that our life experiences and the communities from which we come make us stronger and make us better. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Chaplain, for those inspiring words, and thank you, Britta. You choked me up a little bit there. for giving the exhibit context and meaning. The next three women, all history makers, all barrier breakers, add their voices to the significance of this exhibit. And we are enormously pleased to welcome first retired Command Sergeant Major Michelle Jones, who served for 25 years in the Army. A combat veteran, she was the 9th Command Sergeant Major of the United States Army Reserve and the first woman in that position. Today, she is the Vice President for Training of Civility Management Solutions and President of the Bones Theory Group. And she is also a member of the Military Women's Memorial's Board of Directors. Sergeant Major.
First of all, good afternoon. It is with great pride and joy to be a part of this phenomenal event, to honor military women of color who have often been overlooked, forgotten, or dismissed. It is by no accident that our premier memorial, the Women in Service for America Memorial, is recognizing these phenomenal military women of color. The common denominator of these women, they are leaders. They gave us and continue to give us a roadmap of selfless service. They exhibit the 5 L's of leadership. The first, loyalty, to put the needs of this nation before their own. Leadership, to lead this nation's greatest assets, its service members. Liberty, to enforce our freedoms and our personal freedoms. Life, to ensure our way of life is never compromised. And last but not least, legacy. I say and believe your individual accomplishments and achievements are a testament to what you did in your life. But the legacy that you leave is a testament of how you lived your life and the lives that you touched. A legacy never dies. It goes on exponentially. And last, my sisters in arms continue to exhibit characteristics that carry them through their career, their life, their struggles, their disappointments. They may call it something different, but I call it the Bones Theory, my life and leadership philosophy. First bone, backbone, having the courage to stand up and be who they are, having the courage to say what isn't being said, having the backbone or the courage to go against the tide when the tide is going the wrong way, and having the courage to say, I don't know, I need assistance. Second bone, wishbone, believing and hoping and knowing it is possible. If they did not believe it was possible, they would stop. If they didn't believe that it could happen, then they just stop. Third bone, funny bone. Instead of getting mad, instead of getting even, instead of getting sucked down into the negativity, laugh, they let it go, they come back, go over the obstacle, around it, or under it, or kick it out the way, and laugh their way to success. And the last bone, tailbone. Instead of sitting around talking about it, they get off their tailbone and made things happen. My sincere appreciation and thanks to all that have and continue to support the Women in Military Service for America. I urge you to come and see. For women of color, this is for us.
Well, thank you, Command Sergeant Major Michelle Jones. Tough act to follow, I must say. And joining us virtually is United States Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa, a retired Iowa Army National Guard lieutenant colonel and a combat veteran. She served in Iraq. Senator Ernst, like all the other military women at this event, are members of the Military Women's Memorial. She's a strong advocate for the nation's veterans, and she was a leader in the legislative effort to restore the right of the women Air Force service pilots of World War II to have their ashes placed here at Arlington National Cemetery. And she was a lead for the Female Veteran Suicide Prevention Act, as well as the Military Sexual Assault Victims Empowerment Act. Here's Senator Ernst.
Hi, everyone. This is Joni Ernst, Junior Senator for the great state of Iowa. Well, I'm sorry I can't be with you all in person today. I'm honored to share a few words. As a combat veteran with over 23 years of military service and as a mom of a West Point cadet, I have a deep appreciation for the tremendous courage and sacrifice of all Americans who defend our freedoms. I also have a firsthand understanding of the unique challenges that women face in our armed forces, and I am grateful for the work the Military Women's Memorial does to recognize those who have broken barriers and paved the way for the next generation. And today, I am especially excited to be a part of the opening of this new initiative highlighting the contributions of women of color serving in the United States military throughout our history. This exhibit honors so many incredible women who faced significant barriers but persevered and served our country with honor and distinction. These trailblazers, from Charity Adams Earley, the first Black commissioned officer in the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, to my friend and colleague, Senator Tammy Duckworth, an Iraq War veteran and Purple Heart recipient, represent the best of our nation. As a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, I'll continue advocating for women across the country of all backgrounds to answer the call to serve. I'll also continue working to improve the experience of our female service members and to eliminate the barriers and challenges that exist. I firmly believe that anyone who wishes to wear our nation's uniform and defend our way of life should have that opportunity. And I'm grateful to the young men and women who make that decision every day. Thank you all again for the opportunity to say a few words and for all you're doing to recognize the female trailblazers that have given so much to our great nation.
Senator Tammy Duckworth is no stranger to the Military Women's Memorial. She has joined us on several occasions when she was the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs Director, as well as when she was the Assistant Secretary of the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. A retired Illinois National Guard Lieutenant Colonel, Senator Duckworth is a combat veteran and was severely wounded in the Iraq War. She has continued her strong advocacy for the nation's veterans, first in the House of Representatives and now in the Senate. She works tirelessly to support, protect, and keep the promises the nation has made to America's veterans. Senator Duckworth is featured in the Color of Freedom exhibit, and she too joins us virtually.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be able to celebrate the opening of this new exhibit because, like so many of you, I know firsthand the challenges of serving in the military as a woman of color. I spent my life in male-dominated fields, first in the military and now in Congress. Back in the Army, I was one of the first handful of women to fly combat missions during Operation Iraqi Freedom and the first female commander of my unit. So some soldiers even took to calling me the mommy platoon leader. It was meant as an insult, and at age 25, I bought into it, convinced that to do my job, leading the unit, I needed to stop being the mommy platoon leader and started being one of the guys. I was wrong. What I should have said is, damn straight I fight like a girl, and I'm gonna beat you doing it. From flying helicopters overseas to passing bills in the Senate, I've learned time and again the good that arises from bringing a different perspective to the conversation. Because no group can make fully formed decisions if there are more guys named John at the table than women or people of color. And that happens to be true of the United States Senate today. Whether that perspective comes from the color of your skin, who you love, how you pray, how old you are, or your life experiences, it's important to bring that diverse perspective to the table. You know, it's not easy being the only person that looks like you in the room, and it's certainly not easy to be the first. But the women who've chosen to do just that have made our military better and our nation safer. So thank you to WMSA for remembering and honoring the service of these brave women of color. And to all the military women watching, know this: there's no limit to what you can do or how high you can rise. We need women like you. We need your voices. We need your ideas. We need you to be proud to fight like a girl and to never be afraid to fight for what you believe in. You made our military stronger the day you took your oath of office to defend our Constitution and to serve our nation. Be proud and never forget that.
Thank you, Senators, for those great words of endorsement for this exhibit. Finally, it gives me great pleasure to introduce one of the people who has played a key role in bringing this exhibit to fruition, Army Brigadier General Carol Eggert, retired as the Assistant Adjutant General for Pennsylvania Army National Guard and the Deputy Commandant Reserve Affairs at the United States Army War College at Carlisle Barracks, Pennsylvania. Instrumental in the full integration of women in the military, she began her military service as an enlisted soldier and served for 39 years. General Eggert is a combat wounded veteran of the Iraq War, and today she is the Senior Vice President of Military and Veteran Affairs at Comcast NBC Universal, which is the presenting sponsor to the Color of Freedom exhibit. General Eggert.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brigadier General Retired Carol Eggert, Senior Vice President of Military and Veteran Affairs at Comcast NBC Universal. And I can't tell you how thrilled we are to be a part of this moment for the Military Women's Memorial. And though I wish we could all be together in person, I am so pleased we did not let COVID delay this exciting opening. But then that's what the Military Women's Memorial symbolizes, uniting the power of women who stand proudly among our nation's warrior class. Now, the journey for service women hasn't been without its obstacles, but that is especially true for our women of color who faced barriers not only because of their gender, but also because of the color of their skin. Destiny Johnson, a Black Navy veteran and employee at Comcast, recently said, "The more we celebrate, the more our stories are told, the more will be remembered." Now, I joined a gender-segregated army in the 1970s as a private heading off to Fort McClellan, Alabama. Now, looking back at it, it didn't seem that odd at the time. It is only in retrospect that I realized how ridiculous it was that we were required to wear lipstick and hose at all times, to dress in a feminine manner, and that we received no weapons training. What a long journey from basic training in 1972 to being a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient, and an expert qualified on both the pistol and the rifle. Now, my story is not that unusual, but it and so many like it would be unknown without the efforts of the Women's Memorial. We have stories like Harriet Ida Pickens and Frances Wills, who became the U.S. Navy's first Black female officers in World War II. And these stories were the motivation I relied on throughout my over 30 years of military service. Comcast NBC Universal believes that a diverse, inclusive, and equitable world is more just, more prosperous, and more peaceful. That's why we're honored to partner with the Military Women's Memorial Foundation and, through this exhibit, The Color of Freedom, elevate the voices of service women of color. So thank you to the Military Women's Memorial Foundation for this opportunity, and thank you all for joining us on such a fabulous day.
Thank you, General, and thank all of you ladies for lending your powerful voices to this program and to the exhibit. We are enormously grateful to your support that you have given to the Military Women's Memorial and certainly to the women it represents. Special thanks again to our presenting sponsor, Comcast NBC Universal, and to our supporting sponsors, Geico Military, Northrop Grumman, Tito's Handmade Vodka, and Cerner Corporation. Please join us in the official cutting of the ribbon, which will open the Color of Freedom exhibit, so that we can all experience this extraordinary, but often untold, story of the thousands of women of color who, for decades upon decades, have made remarkable contributions to our military and to our nation. Thank you.
It's time.
Ready, 1,